Hi there. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining me. The thing on most people's minds at the moment is, of course, the fuel crisis. And as a van lifer, what on earth am I going to do? Well, I'm in the unique position of being on family land, so of course it's not an issue for me. But if you're a van lifer in any shape or form, having to live in a car, and you rely on that fuel to get you from A to B to get your essentials like your toilet, showers, that sort of arrangement, your food, then you really need to consider finding a semi-permanent place that you can stay for a while until things pass. And it won't last forever. These things never do. History has a way of repeating itself, just as this fuel crisis did in New Zealand in 1979. So I've seen it all before. We had carless days, and mine was a Sunday, so it wasn't really actually, it didn't work. And even the government decided in the end that there was too many cars in a family and it wasn't really making any difference, so they abolished it. But from my memory, I don't recall any of us being put out by it, and I think that was during the Iranian Revolution. I could be wrong, but that seems to ring a bell. But yes, it brings out the importance of having a backup plan that you would do also if you were sick. That's the time to rely on family and friends to accommodate you in some way so that you are safe and able to continue living without any stress, because at the bottom of all this, that's the thing that we all want, is just no stress in our lives. But of course, for those in homes, it's the same thing. It's carpooling. It's thinking about ways to live out your life without a hassle. Okay, the fuel isn't as forthcoming as it has been. It might be really expensive, and like myself, I just think to myself, well, do I really need to go into town today? Do I really need to move? Do I really need to travel? And 9 times out of 10, it's something that we could put off for another day. It's just that we're so used to having that commodity that we just do what we like when we like. So, as I was saying, this is the time in emergency situations where you can look to friends to assist you by, or maybe house sitting, finding camping grounds which will take longer term residents. There's all sorts of avenues, and I couldn't really give you a list of them all because each person's situation will be unique. Where they live, what their needs are, where their medical situation is. There's so many variables that you really just need to not panic, because that doesn't get you anywhere, and just consider what your options are. And it'll soon pass. I'm quite confident it will. Another thing to consider, of course, is that if there is a crisis in a country, say in my instance in New Zealand, um, it's not uncommon for laws to be relaxed a little so that those that are perhaps not got anywhere to stay in their camper vans and cars, they may be allowed to stay in camping grounds, because let's face it, they will be not getting so many visitors because the tourism straight away will come to a bit of a halt, because maybe people will think twice about travelling in New Zealand, which is one of our big attractions, is overseas tourists coming here, buying or hiring vans, touring the country, and then they sell them on after they've been here for a good season. So there's all sorts of things that we don't know that they're going to happen or not, but it's logical to see things like that happen. If people are in difficulty and under a lot of stress, nowhere to live, then all sorts of options become available that haven't been in the past. And who knows, maybe they might stay on after the fuel crisis ends, and it's a little bit easier for people to live in vehicles if they choose. Ideally, we should all have a home that suits us, and we should be allowed to live that way. So let's hope something good comes from it. I remain optimistic as I always do. I think something productive that can be done really first off is to list your essentials. What are the things that you absolutely have to have on a day-to-day basis? And then work around those. Find ways to solve that problem. And then that will give you confidence once you've got a plan. That's about all we can do is make plans in an emergency. Excuse me. Another thing to consider is if you have vehicles and you're not being used, it's to just keep a check on them. Um, you obviously will, have a regime where you look after your vehicles, but starting them regularly. If they're not going to be started, take the battery terminals off so that it's not draining them or whatever happens to them. I know, I don't know the theory, but I know it's something you should do. Make sure that there's not mice or other rodents making a home in the vehicle. But yeah, it's just common sense. That's what it comes down to in the very end. Something that I've noticed in my lifetime is that as people, quite often we don't want advice. We don't want to be told what to do. What we really, really need is to be heard, to be cared about. And that all we really want is a response. When we're talking about our fears, we don't want answers. We just need someone to acknowledge us, acknowledge that fear that we're feeling, respond to our emotions, and to say to us, hey, you've got this, you're going to be okay. That's really all we need to hear. And that little bit of confidence boost will make all the difference in how we can cope with any situation that comes upon us. Well, I guess I can only say now that I would like to say right now that you've got this. Whatever calamity it is that you're going through, whether it's a fuel crisis or some entirely different situation that is giving you stress, I want to say to you right now, you've got this and you can get through it just like you always have, and you will continue to. And each time you achieve a goal, get through an unbearable stage in your life, each time you do that, then you gain that experience and that confidence that you didn't have before. And as I often say in my comments, life is a journey. It's not about it's not about what happens to you. It's how you handle the situation and how that alters your life, how that changes you as a person, and you grow stronger and stronger each day. And when you do that, you find that life becomes more and more enjoyable instead of it being a pain in the butt, which I can I can vouch for it myself, that it's only in these later years where I've gained the confidence in getting through some really bad times that now I can start to relax. When I see a crisis come my way, I don't react. I don't react the way I used to. And so that is a huge plus in my books. And I can only say to you, be encouraged. You too can do these things. Thank you so much for being with me. I really enjoy your company, and I wish you an excellent weekend, whatever is coming up for you, and stay strong. And until next time, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.